demand for products and services is always changing. We want to help you stay ahead of that curve so that your products and your services remain relevant. We're all customers. We know what it's like to have a fantastic product or to use a brilliant service. Fundamentally, they solve a need that we have. So I need to be able to communicate with people, so I buy a telephone. I need a beautiful brand, so I have a branding agency. I need an office space, so I have a landlord. The problem is that we don't want the landlord, we don't want the branding agency, and we don't want the telephone. We want the afters that they create for us. We have a consumer-based relationship with our customers, which means if they can get a better price, if they can get a better quality, a service, or if their needs change, they'll move on. That is, unless we can adapt to those needs. So if I need my telephone to email, I'll then change my telephone. If I need a brand that has a business card as well and the branding agency can't provide that, I'll change my branding agency. If I need a bigger office space and my landlord can't upgrade me, I'll change my landlord. It's a fickle relationship, but it's one that we need to stay ahead of. If our customers' needs change and we're not prepared to meet these needs, they'll probably move on. Sometimes that's okay, so they might want a product or service which is so far removed from our core offering, actually we're not best placed to serve them. Other times though, they want things that we can adapt to and that we should be ahead of the curve on. We should be able to respond to and foresee these needs before the customers are asking for them. So in order to identify these needs, you need to understand two key things. The first one is your customer's internal problems, and the second one are your customer's external problems. So your internal problems are what are the fears, what are the anxieties, what are the thoughts that your customers have? How can you help solve these fears for your customer? How can you help reduce their anxieties? The second one is your customer's external problems. So they might want a new shiny car, they might want the bigger house, they might want to be promoted at work, they might want to look good in front of their colleagues. But how is your product or service doing this? If you can understand what needs, fears and anxieties your customers have, you can create the products and the services that will help them solve those. If someone could reduce your fears, your anxieties and your problems, would you want to work with them? Of course you would. In the same way, your customers want to work with you if you can provide those products and services that meet their authentic needs. By understanding your customers' needs, you can authentically create value for them. You can position yourself as a leader in the marketplace. You can be proactive and you can create greater barriers to entry for your competition. All of which are fantastic things. They'll help you stay ahead of that curve and they'll help you be proactive in that relationship. Research tells us that it costs between 5 and 30 times more to win a new client than retain an existing client. Deliver exceptional value for your customers and stay ahead of that curve of change and those evolving needs by doing your homework. Look at their internal and external needs. Look at the problems that they've got and how do you create products and services that position themselves ahead of that curve to solve those needs before they ask for them. By being a supplier that knows your customers' internal and external needs, by being able to identify what those problems are and providing and positioning products and services that authentically solve those and offer solutions, you're going to stay ahead of the competition. You're going to provide a very clear differentiator that's going to set you apart in that marketplace. The curve is always changing, sometimes in smaller amounts and sometimes in larger amounts. When our customers have those needs, they're going to look around them for who can provide and solve them. If you're positioned in that place and have an existing relationship with them, it's going to be a lot easier for them to say yes. We've created a resource pack that helps to structure and guide your thinking as you look to figure out what your customers' internal and external problems are. What products and services should you be creating and offering, and what conversations should you be having? To be proactive in this space sets you apart and differentiates you in a fantastically helpful way. It's not easy to do. You're not always going to be right, but that's totally fine. At least you've got a starting point then to navigate that conversation and understand what those authentic needs might be. Retaining a great supplier relationship with your customers will put you in really good stead for long-term business revenue and stability in these times.